Hey y'all, welcome to our South Georgia garden on this beautiful sunny day.
Yes, it is a beautiful sunny day, and today's project we're going to be creating a new garden bed and planting in that bed. We want to take you along for the journey.
Yes, and before this beautiful sun came out, it was a very frosty morning, so we're going to show you a little of that footage.
Come along with us. So Belinda, we fixing to plant something?
Yeah, we're about ready. As you could see in the video, it was a cold, frosty morning this morning.
Yes, it was. It was about 28 degrees this morning.
Right, but now it's beautiful and sunny, as you can see. Our South Georgia blue sky, and it's about 55 degrees.
Yes, it's a good day to plant something. What do we got to plant today?
Well, when we had the green wall installed, they installed this scarlet crepe myrtle, and then we added a sunshine ligustrum on this side. So when we went shopping at the plant sale, they had some more of the crepe myrtles on sale.
Yes, and it looks like we found one.
We did. So we kind of thought, well, let's add that type of crepe myrtle over here on this side of the fence. So we found another scarlet on sale.
So they're both scarlet crepe myrtles.
Scarlet crepe myrtles to be on each side of the fence. And then we found more of those wonderful sunshine ligustrum from Southern Living that we enjoy.
Yes, they're so bright and cheery. It's a sunny day today, but on a cloudy day, they just glow.
They do. And then you can see we already have our supplies out. I've got my biotone starter fertilizer, as we always use. Our nursery really told us that's the best thing to do, so we're following their instructions.
Yes, we are, and it looks like we may have to create a garden bed there before we actually plant it.
You're right. So we're going to be taking up some grass and creating a garden bed. So we got our work cut out for us.
Yes, we do. And our hope is, as these two crepe myrtles grow, that they'll actually kind of arch into each other and create almost a little archway that you'll walk under through that gate to the lake.
That would be beautiful, wouldn't it?
It certainly would. And then we have crepe myrtles on the other side of the gate going out towards the bench. So it keeps that same nice look.
Right. And so we want to take y'all along with us as we create this bed. And we do have that South Georgia grass.
Yes, that old pasture grass. It's got a lot of Bermuda in it and just some stubborn pasture grass.
So you really have to get it out when you're going to create a bed, or you're going to be dealing with it for the rest of your life.
Got my gloves and tools. I'm ready to get at it.
All right, let's get started.
Well, Belinda, we've scalped it down with a weed eater, but this pasture grass is so stubborn that the only way to really get those big roots out, and they are quite large, is to actually shovel them out. We've tried many different ways, but in a small area such as this is about the easiest way of doing it. So that's what got my shovel. I'm going to start digging these roots up. So here we go. Okay, as y'all can see, this is a piece of grass that came up. That is not the root of a shrub or a tree. These are roots from this pasture grass. So that's what we're taking up here in this bed. That's what we've taken up in all the beds that we've created here. So we have one little section to do. Once we take that up, we'll be ready to aug holes, plant some plants, and get her growing.
All right, so I'm going to get this up, and you're going to bring your shovel to get that last part loosened for me.
Yes, I'll be ready to get that last piece up.
And those roots can be stubborn, so we have to go down a little bit into our topsoil to get the roots up.
Which is why we'll use some compost and some wood chip mulch to kind of build back this piece that we've taken up.
Right, and we'll let this grass lay here a few days to let the good soil that's on them dry up and fall off, and we can use this around the bed, the good soil.
Definitely.
And then we can put the grass into an area where it can just kind of compost on its own, not in compost that we'll use for our flower beds, but we just like to let it go back to nature.
Yes, nothing organic leaves the property. When we create a bed, we try to make sure everything stays here somewhere on the property. And with a large piece of property, you can certainly do that.
All right, how's that looking, Mark?
That's looking pretty good. I think we're about ready to get the power planter out. I'm ready to put the shovel aside.
Yeah, those power tools do make it great when you have a place you can use them. We always try to say, work smarter, not harder.
Definitely. So Belinda, we've got them set where we want them?
Yes, I looked on the other side of the gate and mirrored the Sunshine Ligustrum, which the one we have here is in a 3-gallon pot. So it was easy enough to move and use as I was positioning it. But our Scarlet Crape Myrtle that matches the other one is in a 15-gallon pot. So I didn't want to be using it to maneuver to figure out where I wanted it to go. So I used an empty 15-gallon pot just to set where we needed to put the plant.
Okay, very good.
So I'm going to make a little indent so you'll know where you're going to be digging.
All right, so I'm using a 9-inch auger, which is not as big as a 15-gallon nursery can. So I'm going to have to waller this out a little bit.
Yeah, and we know it's going to take a good bit of digging because that 15-gallon pot is pretty deep. So I'm going to get a little bit of the soil out and we can see how much more we need. And we also want to save this native soil.
Yes, because we're going to mix it with our composted manure, our black cow that we use. Because you should use native soil. You want those roots to grow out past your amendments into the native soil.
Looks like we're maybe about halfway there.
All right. Let's see what we've got now.
And Mark, we do think it's pretty neat that, like you said, even though that's only a 9-inch auger, we can
use it for larger nursery cans just by wallering it out and working the hole. We've actually planted a few 45-gallon container plants and used the 9-inch auger for those.
Now we're kind of getting down to that sandy soil. So also I've got that pot set beside the other pot that we can sit it down in the hole to kind of match.
Okay, for depth.
For depth.
I think we still got another.
We do. We've got some more.
Two.
We got. You want to just work on it first?
Yes.
Get a little bit more out. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go get my little hand shovel to help me.
We've just gotten some good rain, so this soil looks nice and moist. Of course, this is near the lake, and as I've said, is a area that stays more moist than the other areas.
Right, and that's another reason it's best for us to be planting this in late fall, because our sandy soil, if in late spring and in summer, it would just be so dry.
Yes, there are times that we aug a hole and it comes up like dusty powder.
Oh, you want to test our hole out with our
Yes.
pot that matches the pot that our crepe myrtle's in?
It looks like we need a little bit deeper.
And also, remember though, we don't have to come all the way to the top because we're going to add some more good soil on here as well as mulch.
Yes, that's true. I know people who have clay soil often plant a couple inches high because the clay holds the water. But we've got to also be careful because plants sometimes settle in the soft, sandy soil.
Right.
And if you plant it even with it, then it sinks and you end up being in a hole.
Right. And also this part of our property is on, even though you can't tell the topography is different, it does slope greatly towards the lake.
Yes.
So you want to try that one out? Do I need to come help you move over, or do you want to slide it?
I'm going to slide it.
Do you need to tilt it and let me
Yes, I
kind of
do.
help you take the pot off?
Let's do that.
Okay. It's quite moist because it got that good rain a couple days ago. Oh wow, look how gorgeous.
Nice root system.
Nice root system.
You want to break any of the roots up before we
It's
go in?
not really very root bound. I'll maybe just open this bottom.
Okay, loosen them a little bit.
Loosen it a little bit where it's going to go into that hole.
Hopefully they'll grow out into the native soil.
So just do the sides just a little bit.
And what we found out is often these plants are so happy to get out of the pots that they quickly root in.
Right.
You want to see the other side of it?
Yeah, let's kind of roll it a little bit. There you go. Yeah, we did have a few roots up top that were going around a little bit.
And of course, what you want to look for when you're planting a tree or shrub, do you have any roots that are girdling
Right.
and are just wrapping themselves around, because that can actually, if it's near the trunk, can strangle the trunk. If it's down in the ground, they'll just keep encircling.
Right.
So that's why you're breaking these loose.
Right. You got your pruners on you, because I do see one root here that seems like it's going around.
I do. I'm going to hand them to you.
Okay. And just use our little Felcos here to cut that root, so now it's not circling around the tree any longer. But another thing we found, especially with crepe myrtles, they put out so many roots near the surface that it will root in pretty easily. All right, you think we're good enough on that?
I think we are.
Do I need to get any more of this out?
Maybe just a little bit.
Okay. Now that we can see the whole root ball.
Do you want any biotone in the hole before we put it in?
Since this is such a deep hole, I want to maybe position it and let the biotone go in beside it.
Kind of go down in around it.
Right,
Okay.
let the biotone go down in around it.
Okay.
Okay?
You ready?
We're ready. Wow.
I think that's about right.
Yeah. I think especially when you're looking at the high side of the hole, that's kind of what we got to be concerned with. We don't want that high side of the hole to be lower than the dirt around it. So, I don't know, what you think? Does it need a little bit of soil back under it, or if we...
No, I think it's sitting about right.
Okay. Look at how it's tilted. Does it need to tilt towards the lake a little bit?
I do think it's...
And then that way some soil could go down on that side, and that'll make that side a little higher.
Can you reach it?
I can. All right, so we're positioning it to make sure that it's growing straight, because on this slope it kind of fools you, doesn't it?
It does.
All right, I'm gonna go get my biotone. I'm gonna step in on that and see that it holds.
Yes. While Belinda's getting the biotone, I want to draw attention that this is a 4-trunk crepe myrtle. The one that is already in the ground that we're matching is 3. So they're similar. They're the same particular variety, scarlet, and I think they're going to look great next to each other.
Right. Do you want to check and see how it looks from east to west?
Looks good this way.
Okay.
And I would say it looks great that way. I think
right.
it's good.
So we're good all around. So I'm going to add my biotone. That'll go down along the sides of it. And we do follow the directions on the biotone. I think sometimes though we'd be a little more generous in our South Georgia sand because we're not the North Georgia clay.
No, there's a big difference between North Georgia and South Georgia. We're in that coastal plain and we have plenty of sand.
Right, so we have to add nutrients back in. And that's why we're going to put the black cow with it.
Yes. We use a lot of black cow on newly planted, especially things that are this large.
Right, and this is the type of, it's actually called a cow manure, or black cow. This is the type of manure that's readily available in our area. Just pick it up at your hardware stores or big box stores,
garden centers.
Garden centers. All right, so you're going to kind of do it around the edge, and then I'm going to be pulling in that native soil with it. So it's about half and half going in. Because you don't want to give your plant just good stuff. You want to mix it with your native soil.
Yes, Belinda, I don't know if it's Jim Putnam or Tony Avent, or maybe some other people have said this too that we've seen. You want your plants a little hungry. You don't want to just feed them only good stuff right up next to them because you want them a little hungry and searching for nutrients and for water going out past the hole you just created. If you just amend it and put good stuff in the hole, those roots just want to stay right in the hole.
Right. And we do, as much as possible, like to use our rainwater. So we had a good rain a couple days ago, and we harvest our rainwater as much as possible. So, Mark, I think it's time to put a couple pots of water around it.
I agree. Yes, we have several. We got a couple of rain barrels and several other vats that we collect rainwater in. And as much as possible, we use rainwater. But we can't only use rainwater because
no, right,
it doesn't rain enough.
Right, and like on the other side of the fence there, we do have that all with a drip irrigation that we use during real drought times.
Yes.
So we'll probably run the same type of drip irrigation on this side.
Definitely, we'll connect this in, and it's close enough to our orchard trees too that on drip irrigation we can tie some drip into this one. Of course, crepe myrtles, once they're established, they are very drought tolerant. That's why here in South Georgia, it is a tree that you see a lot of places. In fact, if you ride down Interstate 16, which connects Macon to Savannah, large areas have crepe myrtles planted right down the middle of the expressway, the interstate. And they're not on drip irrigation.
And they grow so well here. And as you can see, I'm down here playing in the dirt, and I love playing in the dirt. But one thing that makes it nicer for me is I wear the overalls that I can put the knee pads in the overalls so that no matter where I am on my knees, I don't have to be hunting a knee pad. They're right there with me.
And believe me, she wears those and talks about how great those knee pads are all the time.
All right, I think it's ready for you to kind of firm that layer in with your big boot there.
All right, big foot.
See what else we need to do. That looks looking great.
Looking really good.
Scarlet settled right there, didn't she?
I think she's looking pretty good.
Okay, and after we'll plant our sunshine ligustrum next, and then we'll mulch this area.
Yes, and then I'll get a bucket load of cypress mulch, which is what we're currently using, and we'll top dress it.
All right, so I'm gonna step out of the bed so I won't be in the way of your auger, and you can mark where your sunshine ligustrum's gonna go.
Okay. set her out. My auger.
And since that's a 3-gallon, you probably won't have to do, well, you won't have to do nearly as much, but it'll probably just make a perfect hole for that 3-gallon pot.
Pretty much so. And as you can see, this grass is tenacious. Probably need to take some of that soil out.
I will. Too. I'll get some of the soil, but I'm going to bring it on over as I'm coming.
All right.
All right, and remember that's our high edge.
It looks like it might need a little bit more. No.
Nope, it doesn't. Perfect. That's it.
All right.
Okay. So if you'll move your auger on out of our way.
My auger right on out. All right. Can I help you get it out?
Yep, you'll help get it out of the pot. Get behind it a little bit. Here we go. Oh, nice roots again. Not really root bound, so we're just going to tease it loose a little bit, especially that bottom.
A little teasing. Yeah, even plants like a little teasing.
All right, turn it around a little bit. There we go. Okay.
All right.
That's good. Okay. Okay. Maybe look at the positioning of it straight up and down. We know the form of it's going to fill out a lot.
I think it needs to
tilt towards the house a little bit.
Toward the house just a little.
Okay. That better?
Yeah, no more than that.
Okay, good. All right, you want to give us a little bit of black cow?
Absolutely.
Here, and
you got your biotone
while you're up, I'll go this way and get the biotone.
Okay.
Sure is nice having some moist soil to put these new plants in.
Big difference planting now compared to planting in mid to late spring is certainly different than planting in the summer. And these two plants will root in and be ready for the South Georgia heat when it comes.
Right, and even though we're going to have some freezing temperatures coming, as most nurserymen tell you, it's much better to have that plant in the ground than sitting out in a pot.
Absolutely. And we talked about when we put the Crape Myrtle in, how drought tolerant she is. So are these sunshine Ligustrums.
Right.
Ligustrums are one of those plants that we fell in love with years ago because they are bulletproof. Tough as nails, tough as old boots, however you want to say. They are just tough plants. And the sunshine Ligustrum is so unique because of that sunshine color.
Right, when we discovered the sunshine Ligustrum, we really fell in love with them to use as occasional spots of color.
Yes. And in the sun, they are this chartreuse yellow color, but we'll call them evergreen because they are always this color, year-round. And just glad Southern Living developed this and made it available for us and easy to find at our garden centers.
Right, but don't get upset if during the winter they don't drop a few of their leaves, because just because something says it's evergreen, it doesn't mean it never drops leaves. It may drop some as it's putting on new ones.
That's true, and if we may get a close-up of the one on the other side of the gate. It looks a little thin, not quite as much foliage as this one, because it has dropped some of the leaves after being newly planted.
All
so
right.
That's what happens from time to time. I think we're ready for rainwater.
I think we're ready for rainwater.
And when you're watering something, sometimes it's good to put a little bit of water, let that seep in a little bit, instead of just pouring the whole can of water on it, because then that sometimes will just run right on off.
Especially when you're on a slope the way we are. So I think you could give a little bit more up here to the crepe myrtle. Yes, and since we live on a large piece of property, we have some garden beds that we can use the tractor to work around. And we've found that we do use a lot of compost and a lot of mulch. So we usually order our mulch by the dump truck load.
Yes, we do. And as Belinda mentioned, the tractor, we refer to it as Big John. It comes in very handy. I didn't have to shovel this, I just scooped it up. But also, because of the large piece of property we have, the acreage, I have a mower that I pull behind it. It's called a bush hog, and I cut pasture areas with that.
Right. So our Big John serves many purposes. And we're very blessed that as retired educators, we were able to purchase Big John that we use a lot. So,
but when we had a suburban garden that we had for years while we were working, we didn't have a Big John. We just used shovels and wheelbarrows.
Right, and our wagons, our little wagons, pull wagons. Okay, so we're going to kind of adjust where this bucket needs to be so we can just drop the mulch onto our new bed we created.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess you've done your part by getting it out here. Guess it's time for me to grab a rake and move it around.
And this mulch will serve many purposes. Of course, one of the biggest purposes it serves is holding moisture around these plants. In the wintertime, it also serves to insulate the roots of the plants. But what we're more concerned about is the summertime, when we have such high humidity and high temperatures that last all day and all night. This mulch will keep those roots cooler.
And what type mulch is this?
This is cypress. We've used pine bark. Pine bark, if you use the real chunky pine bark, will tend to wash away. We've used pine bark fines, but we found that hardwood, or in this case, the cypress mulch, does the best for us. Here in South Georgia, they grow a lot of cotton, and the place where we get our mulch from, they have what they call pine bark mixed with pine bark fines mixed with cotton milling, which is a really good mulch. The problem is it's full of weeds.
Sometimes
it's full of weeds. We've put down in garden beds, it's such a rich, black looking, it's great looking, and it does a wonderful job. But occasionally you get a truckload that's also has a lot of weed seeds in it. But as gardeners, we deal with weeds all the time, don't we?
Right. We know we're going to have weeds regardless. And I think, we've really heard that if your garden is in good condition, if it's a healthy garden, you're going to have some weeds.
Yes, we've heard people say, and it's so true, if you grow a lot of weeds, you've got a healthy garden. So those of you out there who find a lot of weeds in your garden, the way we do too, just say, well, I must be having a very healthy garden because I grow a lot of weeds. That's looking really good, Belinda.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that was just the perfect amount of mulch. And we'll come back and assess how it may settle, how it may move any of the mulch up around the roots and the stems, the trunks, because we really don't want that.
No, we want to keep the mulch off of the trunk of this crepe myrtle and away from the stems of that sunshine ligustrum, because we don't want it to be right up against that and rot that.
All right, I think I'm
Okay.
gonna do that little bit in the back here. And I think we've pretty much covered the area that we opened up for our garden bed. And so even though we haven't planted this section, we will eventually, but it was wise to cover it once we opened it up.
Yes. We don't want the soil drying out, and also it'll help suppress any weeds, because obviously we didn't get all of the roots from that grass, that pasture grass we took up. So it'll help suppress it, but as we've already said, nothing does totally away with weeds. You're going to have weeds regardless. So you just have to do what gardeners know to do. Pull the weeds when they come up.
Right. And I think since we kind of have it put to bed, so to speak, we'll give it one more good drink of water for today. We hope you enjoyed watching the video as we created a new bed. And as I said, I really love playing in the dirt. So that was a great chance to be outside today.
Yes, it was. And we finished that bed this afternoon. It took maybe a couple hours, Belinda.
It did, but being out in the bright sunshine, it was definitely worth it.
It's a nice way to spend a December afternoon.
Right. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or if you would like to tell us about some of your gardening adventures, please put that in the comments below. We'd love to hear from y'all.
Yes, we would. You know, Belinda, I think it's time for some sweet tea as we're sitting on the porch.
I think it is. Cheers from our South Georgia garden.